Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. This time we are talking everything iOS 18. I'm so excited to talk about this. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. But before we do, I'm Ashley Janelle. If you've never been here before, welcome. We talk a lot of things, but today we're talking everything iOS 18. So go ahead, make sure that you are subscribed. I don't want you to miss out on any of the content that I have coming up. All right, you subscribed? You've done it? All right, now let's get into it. So iOS 18 has been revealed, and when I say that I have not been this excited about an Apple update in a while, it's been a while. There's so much to be excited about in this particular release. Specifically for me as a UX designer and as a former Apple genius, there's just a lot to unpack. So let's go ahead and get into it, and let's start with Apple Intelligence. So Apple has unveiled its plans for AI and how they plan to leverage it as we move forward, which is really exciting. They are calling it Apple Intelligence, AI. They're also leveraging GPT, which is also very interesting, but not surprising. So let's go ahead and get into the first feature, because the first feature to me is so helpful, so helpful. If you are someone who writes a lot, which we all do. We all spend a ton of time writing emails or writing things in our notes app or writing maybe a long letter to someone or whatever it is, writing a review online. Apple is integrating its AI and GPT into its writing tools. And it doesn't matter where you are within your Apple device. You could be on the Mail app, you can be on your Notes app, you can be on third-party apps, which is really nice. It will do things like rewrite text for you, check your spelling, check your grammar, check your punctuation. Think Grammarly? Yeah, in true Apple form, a lot of the third-party applications that we have come to know and love, like Grammarly, that will rewrite your text and make sure that your spelling is correct and your punctuation is correct and things like that. It has actually integrated that into the iOS, which is nice for us, maybe not so nice for a lot of the startup companies and third-party applications. But this is going to be a game changer and so helpful. I don't know how many times people actually take text now and put it into, let's say, a ChatGPT to rewrite or to check the spelling or grammar and things like that. Now everything happens right in the app, which is so nice. So this will also happen on your iOS device, as well as it will carry over to your Mac as well. The next update is going to be really cool for a lot of you who love visuals, because Apple will now be creating images off of your conversation. So let's say that you are talking to someone about a ski trip that you're going to take next week. It will allow you to create a visual of you in this kind of ski environment or whatever it is. It is going to leverage its AI capabilities to give you the exact image, almost down to a T, of exactly what it is that you are talking about, having a conversation about, or you are describing to someone else. Really cool. So really what I could do is rank all of these in terms of my favorites, because this next feature is definitely one of my favorites. It's definitely top 5, and it's not 5. Apple will now be extracting the important parts from notifications. That's right. All those group chat messages, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to go for dinner and what time. The actual notification that will show up on your phone after all of those group chat messages, after 100 messages, will be the most important message extracted from that conversation. So amazing. The other thing that it will do is it will push forward notifications. Let's say that you have a delivery that's being scheduled. Let's say you have Instacart that's being delivered. It will extract the most important notification from all of the notifications that you get from Instacart, from the time that you start the order to the time that you complete the order. Apple will be using its AI to extract the most important parts from conversations and other notifications and messages and things like that. And that is just so helpful. Don't worry about being late to the group chat anymore. All of the most important notifications will be right there for you at the top. This is also going to carry over to the Mail app. It will prioritize your emails for you. Let's say that you have an upcoming flight or something that you need to sign up for that is time sensitive. All of those emails will be pushed to the top, so you don't have to worry about sifting through emails and trying to figure out where was that one email that has to be, have a response for today, or, my flight's coming up, where's my check-in? Like, all of the information will be for you now, prioritized in a nice new layout on the Mail app. In addition to priority, Apple will also sort your emails by transactions, updates, and promotions, which is really cool. So now you don't have to worry about things like your promotional, salesy, marketing emails taking over your entire inbox. They will now be funneled into their own separate section. Gone are the days of reading long emails. Those long emails that you're just like, oh my God, someone CCs you on or they forward you and they're like, oh, adding this person or oh, adding you. And now you have to sift through the entire email chain just to understand what was going on, and that takes an hour. Apple is now going to be summarizing emails for you right at the top. You'll get a summary of what's already been discussed, which to me is so helpful, especially work emails. I can't tell you how many times I've been CC'd or added onto a thread that's been going on for over a week. And now it's my job to sit there and try to understand the context and understand who said what and when, and who's already added this and when. This is going to be super, super helpful, especially for those long email threads. Another favorite feature, responding to emails just got a lot easier in iOS 18. Let's say that you have an email where someone is asking you what time you would like to arrive and how you would like to get there. Do you want to drive or do you want to take an Uber? It is now going to sift through those responses from the conversation and give you the choice to make certain selections and formulate a response based off of those selections. So you don't actually have to sit there and type out an entire email anymore. That kind of makes a lot of sense. I don't know why we didn't have this before. I get the new AI capability, but this is so smart. Seriously. Sometimes things are just yes or no, right? It's like yes, no, I want the chicken, I want the steak, we'll be there at 5, like those kinds of things. And to just be able to click a button and having a response auto-generated for you, that's key. So now let's get into Siri, because Siri has been a hot topic for a long time. I feel like when Siri first came out, everyone was so excited about it. It felt like this virtual assistant until you actually started to use Siri. Then Siri felt a lot less helpful, a lot less functional, and we've kind of just been making minor tweaks and adjustment to Siri along the way. So iOS 18 gives us a brand new Siri. Siri now will be leveraging AI and GPT to do things like formulate all of their responses to you, actually look things up, be able to give you actual information instead of information that kind of has to do with what you asked. Siri is just a lot more functional in iOS 18. Let's get into it. So one really cool feature that is coming to your photos via Siri is you can now ask Siri for a specific photo. Or Siri, find that photo of my son Jacob at the beach in Spain. Siri is now going to be a lot more functional. We have a ton of photos in our photo app, and I know that they introduced the search functionality, which is pretty good, but to be able to just tell your phone to look something up or hey, pull out this screenshot or pull out this photo, that is a game changer. We really have way too many photos and we need a better way to be able to find them. Now let's talk discoverability as it relates to Siri. Can't remember if someone sent you a recipe in a note, a text, or an email? Siri now will be able to sift through various parts of your device to locate that information. This is huge. A lot of times I can't remember if someone emailed or texted something to me. So to be able to just ask Siri, hey, can you find this? That is super, super helpful. Even if I have to go a step further and try to do some more digging on my own, it's really helpful to have a starting point, and Siri and her enhanced discoverability is going to be a game changer. One of my favorite Siri enhancements for iOS 18 is that Siri now needs a lot less direction and context in order to make something happen. Let's say that you're texting with one of your friends and they send you an address for an upcoming party. All you have to do is say, hey Siri, create a calendar invite around this information. She will already have enough context to create that calendar invite. A lot of times now, if I ask Siri to do something along these lines, I might get the date, but I won't get a description or a title of what the event is. Or I might get a title, but I won't get a date. So with this enhancement, I'm expecting Siri to be a lot more helpful. Needing less context from me because you already have the amount of information that you need is going to be huge. Another enhancement to Siri is that she can now understand your mistakes and pauses in a command. This is huge for me because I don't know how many times before I get ready to tell Siri something, I have to like get it all in my mind perfectly so that she can understand what the command is. Now I can take breaks, I can pause, I can make a mistake and say, oh wait, no, not in 15 minutes. Actually remind me to do this in 5 minutes. and she will be able to understand that and carry out the command accurately. This is huge for me because I don't always have it together up here, right? So I just want to be able to get my thoughts out and then you take them down and take the actions accordingly. So the next iOS 18 enhancement that I don't think falls under Siri, we might have wrapped up our Siri section, but this next enhancement that is really, really cool is that you now have the ability to record and transcribe. So now you can record phone calls with the permission of the person or people on the other end. You now have the ability to record conversation. This is going to be huge for work calls or any kind of calls where you're discussing logistics around something and you just want to get all of your ideas out. You don't want to spend time taking notes. Maybe you're in the car and you're driving and you're just not able to take notes. You can record the conversation and the AI will actually transcribe the notes for you and it will pick out the most important parts, which is really cool. You can also do this with your notes app. Let's say that you are listening to a lecture and instead of taking notes, you actually just want to listen. This is huge for me as a UX designer, UX researcher. A lot of times I don't like to take notes during my user sessions. I like to just have the conversation and take my notes later. This is going to be something that is going to be huge because it will allow me to not only listen and not have to take notes, but it will transcribe those notes for me a little later. This is huge. So Siri also has a new visual enhancement, which is so exciting to me as a designer. I love when features that we have been using gets a visual boost. So let's get into the visual section for a second. So Siri now, instead of having the little circle that pops up at the bottom of your screen when Siri is activated, Siri will now take over the perimeter of your screen. And it's this cute little glowing light, this glowing animation that lets you know that Siri is activated. But I think it's just a step up from the enhancement that we had before, from the visual cue that Siri was activated. I love this. One important thing to note, however, is that the Apple Intelligence portion of the new iOS will not be available on all devices. It will only be available on iPhone 15 Pro Max, A17 Pro, the iPhone 15 Pro, A17 Pro, iPad Pro M1 and later, iPad Air M1 and later, MacBook Air M1 and later, MacBook Pro M1 and later, iMac M1 and later, Mac Mini M1 and later, Mac Studio M1 Max and later, and the Mac Pro M2 Ultra. So just something to keep in mind if you want to be able to, in my opinion, use the real meat of the new updates. You're going to have to upgrade your device if it's not one of those that I just named. So now let's get into messages, because this is one of the applications that I feel like we all use at least every day, multiple times a day, several times a day. We use our messages app. So let's get into the new features within messages. So one of the new features coming to messages is going to be related to the tap backs. So right now, if you were to tap back on one of your messages, you only have about 5 or so icons that you can choose from. You will now have the ability to tap back on a message and choose whatever emoji you would like, which is really cool because it adds a lot more personality and fun to the tap back experience. So this next feature, if I had a top 5, would probably be 1 or 2. And this is going to be the send later option within your messages. Now we already have the send later option within mail. Now it is being brought over to messages, and I am so excited for this. You don't know how many times I've wanted to send someone a message, and it might be the middle of the night, or maybe I felt like it was too early to send the message. It was too early in the morning, or maybe I didn't want the message to actually arrive to that person at that particular time because maybe I wouldn't be in the position to respond or what have you. Now you have the ability to schedule your messages. Game changer. Game changer. Game changer. This is everything. You can even update the message that is scheduled to be sent. Let's say you misspelled a word or actually you want to change something. Before that message is sent, you can still update it. I'm excited about this. Another really cool feature that's coming to messages is text formatting. Now, what is text formatting? Let's say that there is a particular word that you would like to stand out, that you want to make sure that people really understand and you really want to drive it home. You will now be able to underline, bold, strike through, italicize various words within your messages. Really, really cool. So now let's get into one of my favorite sections, which is going to be the design of your lock screen and the design of your home screen. Now, the level of customization that Apple has been giving us over the last several releases has been pretty good. I, for one, have been very surprised, especially as a designer, at the amount of customization that Apple has allowed for the home screen and the lock screen and what have you over the last several years. But in this particular release, they are taking it a step further. In iOS 18, you now have the ability to change the color of your icons on your home screen. That's right, all of your icons, they all have their specific branded look and feel currently, but that will be able to be changed. You can change it and have an all blue look if you would like, or an all red look, or you can make it to match the photos that are in your background. Super, super cool. Another really cool feature that they're allowing you to do is to be able to really rearrange the icons. Right now, there's still a specific range, a specific layout in which you're able to rearrange your icons. Now, let's say you have a photo of someone or your pet as your background and you don't want icons all over their face because that's kind of rude. You can now move the icons around the perimeter of the screen, which is really nice. You can even rearrange your controls in the control center in a way that makes sense to you. You can have certain things stand out while certain things kind of fall into the background. This is a really, really nice way to make your device yours. Going along with the controls, you can also now change the two controls that sit at the bottom of your lock screen. This is a big deal because the two controls that are allowed to be opened without necessarily opening your phone is a big deal. So you can now have the option to choose whatever controls you like. And the last feature that is definitely going into my top 5 is going to be the password app. You no longer need to use a password application to house all of your usernames, passwords, email addresses for various applications and websites. They will all be housed right in your Apple device, right on the iOS. This is a game changer for so many people, specifically me. I've never used a password app, a third-party password app. So to be able to just have everything right in my phone, the privacy is there, all the data privacy is there, but the frustration behind trying to log into an application or a website and not having the right username and password is just so frustrating. I don't think there's anything more frustrating when you sit down to try to do something and you can't log in and you have to go through the flow of forgot password. Yeah, that's over. So if I had to rank my top features of what we just covered today alone, remember, this is not the extent of all of the features that will be available in iOS 18. Head over to apple.com to learn more about it. But if I had to rank mine, I would probably say the send later on the Messages app, the ability for the AI to summarize my copy, make sure that it's grammatically correct, there are no spelling errors, extracting the most important insights from notifications and showing me those first, email response suggestions based on the thread and the content, a much more functional Siri, and the password app. I don't know if that was 5 or 6, but those are my favorites. What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments. Let me know, what are you feeling? What's the energy that you're getting from this new iOS release? Are you excited about it? Are you feeling kind of like how I was feeling, like this is probably one of the most exciting releases that we have had in a long time? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to read them. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, make sure that you subscribed. I want to see you guys here next time. Bye.